So when it comes to this set of knowledge areas, there are different areas that the BAs are expected to have the knowledge on, and that would mean that the professional, the BA, would need to have this knowledge within their field of work, their domain. Sometimes it could be the concept, sometimes it could be the structure, the value, it could be the deeper, procedures, policies, business rules, pretty much everything. So when it comes to this, it's if you're working in a retail space, then you need to be able to understand the domain knowledge of retail industry, how that operates, what are the kind of setups, the market leaders, the players, the competitors, and how the dynamics of the market works. Pretty much the same way if you're working in banking or financial services, it's the same thing that you would expect to know within that industry. So industry knowledge is a significant asset to a BA. And in fact, that's the reason why they're able to converse with the business people, the marketing and the customers and the stakeholders and the users in a way that they can understand, they can relate to. At the same time, once you have done that, you also need to be able to work with the team who are working on the solution in the knowledge, in the way that they can understand, which is the solution knowledge, in the way that they can, the technology speak, some of the terms that are specific to the solutions, the platform, the application, the APIs, the middleware, the tools, the technologies, the programming language, the syntax and the rules and the interfaces and methods and things like that. Everything that the solution team would work with and that they would know, you should be able to actually understand that at that level. So that's why we can transverse from the business space to the technology space, from the problem space to the solution space. That's what gives us the flexibility and the adaptability and the approachability to be able to work with different levels of people, different roles, and different layers in the organization. Business thinking, systems thinking, all of this really important. Design thinking, product thinking. Organization knowledge again is important because you are trying to look at it from the point of view of the organization, where it is heading, what kind of vision you would need, what kind of skills that organization would expect of you and the team, the people working within the organization, what are their roles, and what is potentially happening with respect to the methodologies, what kind of methodology you're trying to adopt, approaches, what kind of, is it traditional waterfall or is it agile? If it is agile, what kind of methodology that is more suitable, what kind of tool set that we need to have, what are the different techniques, how are we going to implement, do we need some kind of implementation experts, consultants, do we need to work with external consultants and the experts, or we can work with internal ones? How can we bring in this kind of expertise onto the board? How can we internalize, how can we institutionalize this new approach that we have got? What are the things we need? What kind of education that we need to bring in? All of those need to be understood and implemented by the BA professionals. Very important. So in the context of a nutshell, so we're talking about business thinking as an understanding of business principles and practices. Again, very important in the context of what that would be. That would mean the business rules, the procedures, the policies as applicable to their business. And the industry knowledge is about the present practices, processes common within and around the industry. So if you're talking about the domain, the retail, healthcare, all of these different domains, banking, insurance, automobile, each of these different domains and industries have got their own set of policies, procedures, rules, processes, and even some of the implementations are different as well. So we as BAs need to appreciate that. We need to be able to understand the specific challenges, pain areas, the workflows involved, the workarounds, the bottlenecks, the breakdown scenarios within each of those, and how we can address those. So we should be able to come up with the right problems, identify the problems, and facilitate the teams in creating the solutions to those. Organization knowledge is about the specific architecture and the systems within the organization. Again, what are the procedures, what kind of structures we have? Is it a flat structure? Is it more of hierarchical structures? Too many layers of reporting? Is it multicultural, multidimensional, multidisciplinary team members working in tandem, cross-cultural, cross-dimensional ones? Is it more of that or mesh kind of structure, or is it more of a top-down hierarchical thing? So again, we need to understand the work culture. We need to understand what kind of practices we have, what kind of systems are in place, how we're going to react to changes and things like that. And solution knowledge is basically about the use of existing knowledge of the organization, how they're going to implement the solution, what kind of infrastructure we have at the moment, how we're supporting the implementation of the solution. Do we have enough resources? Do we have enough tools, enough infrastructure, enough servers, enough hard and the soft resources? Do we have the right skilled people to be able to execute this project or work on this process? All of these are to be looked at. And methodology knowledge is about understanding the methodologies of an organization with respect to, as we discussed, it could be with respect to the specific implementations, or if it is to do with, for example, the processes, the HR process, the training, what kind of learning methodologies we have got here, what kind of developmental processes, what kind of methodologies. Is it traditional waterfall, or do we have agile, or is it a blended agile come waterfall? What are we trying to actually bring into the organization? How are we trying to internalize and institutionalize that sense of change culture? So all of these need to be really appreciated, and this knowledge is what has to be present in the